There we go. Good one. See how you like it when I freaking kick you, buddy. Oh, son of a bitch. A little spiced. Oh, he was just watching. Blair Witch Project, 1999. Oh, I didn't even see it. You were wearing water camo. Your outfit was positively brackish. Dude, we're gonna make it to the Gaping Dragon. What? I did see Dan. Well, I didn't see him beat Orphan of Kos, but I watched like 30 attempts. Oh, you're dead still. I didn't see the clip of him winning, no. Honestly, like, I think Dan can't do amazing accomplishments on stream when I'm watching. I miss Tetris. I missed Manus. I missed Orphan. You know, it's no problem. Like, a lot of us have some kind of performance anxiety, I suppose. I've heard. So I'm not trying to, like, make the problem worse by, like, bringing it up. But on, like, just a pure evidentiary perspective, the Canucks always win when you're not watching. That's actually like it's the opposite. I don't have any superstition about it. However, whenever I don't watch the Canucks, which is usually road trip early Eastern games, I'm like, hey, what's the Canucks score? And they're like, oh, they're losing 9-2. And I'm like, oh, okay. Does he not spawn in here? I thought he kind of spawned in here. Thought we could see him. Green Titan Knight. He starts in the pit. Okay. Bernie Sanders just posted on Reddit. Do you think he had to get Pete Buttigieg to teach him how to log in? Okay, it's a stretched creature. Yo, that's Capra. But last time it was Capra, it wasn't Capra. It was the Sanctuary Guardian. I'm once again asking for your technical support. Great meme. Incredible. It's Capra! Now, I hate to say it. This kinda sucks. Because Capra would be a great boss to have on a much smaller arena. But I guess I keep operating under the assumption that it's like swaps bosses, but I guess they just repeat. So actually, I guess it's amazing. That was extremely easy. Really, really comically simple. I pressed L1 4 times. Oh, it looks just like the sun. Incredible. How the heck do you get out of here? I mean, we've already done Blighttown. We don't. I mean, I guess we could grab items, but no, don't. You don't jump in the pit. Is there an item over here? I'm just wearing my pajamas. There's a million items in Upper Blighttown. Yeah, and they all require you to be in Blighttown, so what's the point? You need the Lord Vessel? I already beat Quelaag. And by Quelaag, I mean the Iron Golem. That's true. No toxic archers definitely helps. Even just the lighting is like... bleh. There's a merchant up there? Well, isn't that special? Fight Manus. I mean, I would not feel good ending the randomizer without fighting Manus. He sells the Drake sword for 10 souls. He's a tricky one. Obviously, the Xanthus Crown is a fan favorite. Titanite for... large Titanite for 500 is pretty good. As well. Black Sorcerer Cloak is 500,000. That's a little expensive. So I think I'm gonna grab like 15.
Thank you.
Just so we have, I stole the number 15 from chat, just for the record. So if it's right, chat deserves the credit. If it's wrong, chat deserves to be mocked. Can I be honest with you? I have only done... I think I've done Upper Blighttown twice. In my entire life. Hello. I did it once on video. And I think I did do it in the remaster as well. When we streamed it. Hold up. Let's try this out. Because the enemies here, this might be an area that it has a chance to actually be easier. Than real Blighttown. Okay. You're gonna fat roll now? Yikes. That's a large one. I thought that was a tiny mushroom. Honestly, part of the problem here... Oh, he's attacking again. Part of the problem here is that I can't see him. Because of my hat. Still fat rolling? Let's see. Mid roll, let's go. What does this do? More damage. Not today. We've mastered it. A chunk. A chunka. So yes, I did spend 5,000 on a hat that we wore for 2 seconds. Walk a mile in these Louboutins. They don't wear these shits where I'm from. He's unkickable. Resin! The first resin. That is IGGY, Iggy Azalea, one of the most enduring artists of our generation for sure. So I listened, literally this is true. I listened to Fancy the other day. And I was just thinking, like, what do you think went through Iggy Azalea's head when she wrote the line, and I quote, Dan Carlin style, got the whole world asking how I does that. What do you think she was, what do you think popped into her brain when she wrote, either in her phone or, you know, perhaps in a moleskin? Got the whole world asking how I does that. It's a comical line. She didn't write it. Well, I'm gonna guess that the person who wrote it did not write it for Iggy Azalea. Are you like the Sen's Fortress rock thrower? No, you're the Blighttown rock thrower. I think he fell. Oh, son of a bitch. That song had 6 writers? I mean, I don't disbelieve it. Does it need 6 writers? Absolutely not. However, anyone who's ever held a job in an office will tell you it takes 6 people just to sign the release to be able to buy more water for the water cooler. So, if anything, it needed more writers. Why were you listening to it? Because I think the song's a bop. I'm dead. Every other Iggy Azalea song I've ever heard is... I mean, Fancy is garbage in its own right as well. There's no doubt about that. But Fancy, it has something. I don't precisely know what it is, but Fancy has something. It's catchy. It's like how Pony... I mean, Pony I think is a good song to begin with. But Pony, you know, the lyrics and the singing is one thing, right? But the enduring legacy of the song Pony is... bow, 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 bow. You know, that's like, to me, Fancy is a lot less about, like, first thing first, I'm the realist. Drop the bass, let the whole place feel this. And I'm still in the murder business. I can hold you down like I'm teaching lessons in physics, etc., etc. For me, Fancy is all about the dunk, 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 dunk-a-dunk, dunk, 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 dunk. It's got it. That beat's got something. Look, I'm not insulting Charlie Roman numerals by not mentioning the hook. The hook is an integral part of the song, without a doubt. And if you're a longtime viewer of the show, you may recall I only know 2 songs where Charlie Roman numerals has appearances, and I think both of them are bops. Good punch. Fancy is a bop, and Boom Clap is a bop. Certified bop, without a doubt. So I've absolutely got nothing against Charlie XCX. Wait, did she do the one that was in all those YouTube, holy crap, compilations? I don't care, I love it. It kind of sounds like her. She did that one? No, she did not do that one. That's Iconopop. All right. This is your minkest moment of the day. May I? Worth it. I have no memory of the crab things. First off, I can't stop doing the crab thing. Secondly, many players, I wouldn't say most, many players will not see a Vagrant on the average Dark Souls playthrough. In the wild, I've probably seen like less than 3 or 4. But in Randomizer, they're probably like the 10th most common enemy right now. Hard leather gauntlets. Must be my lucky day. Grant, your doppelganger, Anthony Fantano, gave Charlie's album of the year last year. I know you're not trying to suggest that just because we're both bald, we listen to the same music, because that'd be pretty fucked up. So I'm more just interested in why it was brought up to me specifically in the first place. I'll wait. Unbind jump, they say. Unbind jump. Nobody said unbind jump. They all said rebind jump. Whatever. What's the difference? Got the whole world accent how it does that. I do need to listen to some more music, though. Because, like, I've been at the gym, I've been listening to podcasts, I've been listening to audiobooks, but they're not bringing, the same dopamine. I need some fresh injections. Can I run something by you, chat? If I make a running jump and land on this bridge, you have to marry your mother-in-law. You're lucky. What am I even... Sorry, what I meant to say is I'm not even supposed to be here. What am I doing here? We're just picking up shiny stones. See ya. I'm going to Quaylog. We're picking up shiny trinkets and baubles. Why did I go here? Because now I realize I gotta go all the way back. The only way to go back is to go down to the bottom and then take the freaking elevator back to the top. No, sir! Just for that? I deserve that one. If you have the Lord vessel, then just warp. I know. Is that the joke? Honestly, I haven't watched I Think You Should Leave in like, probably 6 weeks now. See ya. I don't even remember what you are. Whoa! Oh, that's spiced. Yeah, you're not supposed to jump. I heard Anthony Fantano said that the #1 tip for Dark Souls is to not jump. Forehead? Oh, hello. So you're in the pool, huh? This is, if you're not familiar, I believe this is Angry Man from Sen's Fortress boss run-up. Oh, yeah, he's in Undead Parish as well. It's like we're talking about an actor. It's that guy with the face. Oh, you can make that jump. If you don't jump there, you're a coward. Leggings of Thorns. My favorite Guided by Voices song. The tiny dog set me up perfectly. Who's your favorite typecasted actor? So I don't think he's my favorite. But I definitely do not dislike Seth Rogen as much as your average Redditor. That's gonna hurt. Like, people will be like, weed, and then at the same time, like 10 seconds later, they will post a comment about how, like, but it does cure lung cancer, though. I think he gets a bad rap. Do I have a Canadian/Vancouver bias? Maybe. I don't know. I like Seth Rogen, You didn't respawn. I like Seth Rogen, before I moved to Vancouver, for the record. This is not great. He does stick to his niche, you know? I wouldn't dispute that. Please. Please. You know what, brother? I'm just gonna give you one of these. Willem Dafoe? I don't think Willem Dafoe is typecast. I think he just has a face. Now here's a question. NL, how were you a functional, oh no, adult living in Korea when you were 22? I'm 21 and have no idea what I'm doing. It's a spicy one for me. Because you know, given the chance to rag on other people, I will always take you up on it. Oh, Mushroom Boy has an item. I think what a lot of people are saying in chat is right, which is that like nobody really knows what they're doing like at any given time. Yo, it was a chunk, dude. But like the honest answer that I have is that I just did it. Like I think I was an only child and I grew up relatively I mean I grew up in the country, but I was sheltered to an extent for sure. If I waited until I was like ready to do things, I would have done a lot less things. Plus I had all summer to figure out what I did. Exactly. Hey, hey! So like, you know, was I ready to move to Korea? Blood loss. I mean, yes and no. I learned the alphabet, but like, I had lived on my own in like dorms for a few years. But I still was like, you know, suckling on the teat of my parents' money for sure. But then it's just like, you know, if you don't, I think when you do it, I got like a lot of conflicting thoughts going on right now. What? That was like a small gap. But like when I moved there, it's just like you just have to do it, cause like if you don't do it, you'll just like starve to death. You know? Help. Okay, that was fast. So it's like I honestly, so I've done well for myself. And I'm like, you know, I think I've compared to a lot of YouTubers as well. Not all, like obviously there are YouTubers who started after me and are 10 to, you know, 15 times more successful in raw number levels. But like, I think what helped me out a lot was honestly like, when I hit like a certain level of success, help me! I jumped. I added more responsibility like on top of that. So I never really got to the point where I was like, I can feel 100% comfortable, if that makes sense. Like when things started to like go okay on YouTube, like I quit my teaching job and I was like, oh shit, now I gotta like, you know, find a way to keep this going so that I don't, you know, starve to death. And then, you know, after like almost a year of that, I moved to Vancouver, and you know, now instead of just being like a single guy in his early 20s who could live on like, you know, $500 a month rent free easily, I had like other people relying on me for their well-being as well. And you're like, oh shit, I gotta, you know, keep injecting like a little bit of responsibility, so that you're constantly like, you set your goal slightly higher than like where you're at, and then you get there, and then you don't stay there. You push it like a little bit further. So, you know, like after a couple of years in Vancouver, we like you know, move to a much nicer place. Like, we weren't living in somebody's converted garage. And you're like, oh, now I gotta really get it into gear. And then last year we bought a place, and you're like, now I really gotta get it into gear. So that's my, like, agnostic advice. Like, having a comfortable... I mean, yeah, like, I'm not gonna deny... Someone said, like, TLDR have an upper middle class safety net. Yeah, like, I can't change that I had advantages compared to a lot of people growing up, for sure. But, like, you know, it is what it is. You can do it. He lived! And, you know, I could have... What a hit. What an incredible hit. He just hit me with a little bop when I jumped. I think, like, I could have lived in my parents' basement, shirking all responsibility. You know, basically until I or they died, probably. Instead, I honestly think that, like, pivoting off of that and using that as an opportunity to, like, you know, take a risk in this career has been positive. Because I think, like, I would be a much worse person. And you know, adult life is all about, like, you make mistakes too. Nobody's perfect, but that's how you, like, that's how you figure it out, you know? I mean, in Korea, it's not like I wasn't going to the bank and being like, you know, excuse me, I'd like to open an account. I was going to the bank and just, like, walking in to the lobby and waiting until somebody was like, holy shit, a white guy. Please get the only person here that speaks fluent English. We have an emergency, you know? And, like, I ate staggering amounts of instant ramen, not even necessarily for, like, financial reasons, but I would just, like, go into the you know, grocery or convenience store and be like, I don't even know what, like, this is. So I'm just gonna eat some Shin Ramen. But anyway, this is, it's almost like, it's kind of ancillary to the original point. If the original point is like, you know, how did you move to Korea at my age? I feel like I don't know what's going on. I didn't know what was going on either. I just moved there. And by the time I left, I didn't know. Oh, see you, sir. By the time I left, I didn't really know what was going on either, to be honest. I think it's kind of like life in general, too. Like, you're on a constant trend of realizing that, you know, you lived? I deserve that. That, like, you think you're, like, smart, but actually, like, a year later, you're dumb. Like, when I look back, when I was, like, 24, I was like, I gotta figure it out. Now I'm like, when I was 24, I was like a little baby infant/idiot. I'm sure when I'm 40, I'll look back on 31 and be like, man, I was a dummy. But the important thing is at 31, I look at other 31-year-olds and I go, oh, I'm way smarter than them. As long as you got that going for you, just, you got nothing to worry about. I love the way he Pepe hands when you hit him. That's why it's creepy when 50-year-olds date 24-year-olds. Look, okay, I don't want to, like, I don't want to offend anybody, but yeah, sort of. I hate to say it. I think when I was younger, I was like, it's just a number. Love knows no bounds. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. You guys might love each other, but it means that... I know what you think it probably means that you're like a very mature 24-year-old. What it really means is that he's an extremely immature 50-year-old. I don't know this person. I'm making up a straw man in my head, but... You think I can drop here? Shots fired at Michael Douglas. Not today. No, I don't have a choice anymore. This sucks, dude. I should never have gone to Blighttown, but there's no way to have known it until we got down here. Like, I think when I was a teenager, I was like, dude, but if you could be, like, an old dude, and, you know, you're single, you start dating, like, a hot young lady in, like, her early 20s, you're like, hell yeah. But even now, as, like, a 31-year-old, the thought of spending more than 15 minutes a day having a conversation with your average 21-year-old, not you, chat, you're... the Intelligista. But the thought of like listening to a 21-year-old person's problems every day would probably drive me to madness in record time. Oh, my TikTok isn't doing well. Excuse me, have you been spying on my Amazon Alexa conversations? I wanted to come up with an answer. Or like an impression of what a 21-year-old's problems would be. I have to apologize to Apollo, because every single one that is entered into my head has just been a complaint about DoorDash. And I don't even mean it as an insult to him, but every single one in my head, every single one of them that popped in my head was like, my DoorDash driver turned down the wrong street, dude. To be fair, I have also complained about that. Yo, what the? There's a dragon's tail here somewhere. Oh, no, that's the, that was the slug from earlier. Bro, my DoorDash driver replaced my chocolate shake with a drink that was $2 less expensive. That's like... That sucks. Like, Just go, dude. Just go, forehead. Like, that's a crime. Unless it was not the unless it was not the driver, but was the restaurant instead. It's not like a serious crime. But it's a crime. I went to the wrong direction. I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be climbing the freaking elevator. No, I'm not going to the Great Hollow. Great Hollow is also BS. How can you run through this so well? I will say, though, I was on the other end of that. Last night I was like, Kate, what do you want for dinner? She was like, McDonald's. And I was like, okay. In my head I was like, poggers, dude. But I wasn't getting any McDonald's for myself, sincerely, because I'm on a cut right now. So I was like, oh, I'll cook when I get home, but I'll go get her something, because I'm the best husband on earth. So I placed the order at the kiosk for her food. I can only use this with 2 hands. Then when they called the number, I grabbed the bag, and the lady that was working there was like, you have 1 more bag. And I went, okay. I grabbed it. I gotta be honest. I walked outside. I looked in the bag, and I was like, that smells a lot like a McChicken. As soon as I looked in the bag and it was a McChicken, I walked like faster than I've ever walked in my entire life. I was like, we did it, boys, let's go. And then I ate the McChicken for dinner, I'll admit. Hello. I did give them wet food. It's not, okay, is it stealing in some way? Yes. At the same time, I'm not gonna take the food, walk back into McDonald's with it, and be like, oh, I think you gave me somebody else's food. Because if somebody did that to me and was like, oh, I think I got your food by accident, I would ask the restaurant to remake it. Because I don't want to eat this food that somebody might have, you know, tampered with in some way. I mean, I think they probably would have just tossed it anyway. So I was like, this is just a happy accident. Plus, as far as I'm concerned, the McDonald's Corporation, about once every 3 times we would get McNuggets, they would not include any dipping sauce. If you factor in dipping sauces at 30 cents per packet, honestly, I'm probably owed like another at least 3 or 4 McChickens on top of that. Someone, yeah, with dipping sauce. Someone on that replied to me on Twitter was like, yeah, sometimes if McDonald's is busy, they just give out McChickens. And I was like, that doesn't sound right at all, but to absolve me of my guilt, oh no, I'm just gonna choose to believe it. No, not a... What? You're not even supposed to be here. Trust me. Like, look, I don't feel good about it, okay? All I'm gonna say is, the reason I don't feel good about it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, but the reason I don't feel good about it is because the same shit has happened to me before. Like, you go to Starbucks, you're like, oh, I'll have a sausage breakfast sandwich. Then, like, 2 people after you are like, I'll have a sausage breakfast sandwich. And then the first sandwich gets called out, and they're like, yeah, that's mine, I gotta go. I mean, what are you gonna do? Get in a fist fight at the Starbucks over a sausage sandwich? I don't think so. Draw your sidearm. I two-hand my Black Knight halberd. Don't do it. Ooh, that would have been a problem. No, at Canadian Starbucks, they don't call out numbers yet. You can do a mobile order, I suppose. But at Canadian Starbucks, it's still just, you know, chorizo sandwich. And then everyone's like, it's the honor system. That's chaos? No, son, like, they don't use your name always. Like, on drinks, they'll always use it. On food, it's a sometimes play, apparently. Let me up, please. Let me up. Some bonfires are getting kindled, brother. What's your favorite meal amongst all restaurants? Anytime Kate's like, you can choose what we're having for dinner tonight, I don't really care. First, I go, are you sure? Because then, like, about a third of the time, she's like, actually, I got a big craving for, like, this. And I'm like, all right, let's have that then. But on times when she's like, no, for real, I usually default to, like, either a Chipotle burrito or like a huge masala dosa. I guess we are fighting again. Trying to think. So we've done Blighttown. We. Oh, let's go. Hello.
Oh, my, so it was. You might.
I could fight 4 kings. Could fight 4 kings. Can I tell you though? I just do not like New Londo ruins, and will always wait as long as possible to do it. I thought you could only eat grilled chicken and Brussels sprouts. Let me tell you something about this cut, okay? Basically, all I have done is remove peanut butter from my diet, and then whenever I get like a lunch, and they're like, do you want rice or a bed of mixed greens? I'm like, I'll take the mixed greens, please. That alone has taken me down. Plus, like, when I was on the bulk, I was eating until I was disgustingly full. Like, I'm not out here trying to become, like, a professional bodybuilder or fitness model. Plus, I'm already married. So, a lot of the pull that people on the internet have to do these extraordinary cuts is because they want what I got. So, I have the luxury of being able to tackle it a little bit more casually. But yeah, the cut's been slower than expected, but we also, I mean, we had like Kate's birthday weekend. That's about it, but I'm down from, I was like at 205. Oh, let's upgrade. I was at 205-ish at the end of December. And I weighed in yesterday at the gym at like 200 even. So it's still, it should be faster at the start, but I haven't been that diligent. But it's still been fine so far. You may take my large ember. 200 pounds at 5 foot is pretty good. What'd you say about me? Okay. The halberd has been upgraded. But we're not really using the halberd for this fight. So, I don't really think we've, like, even leveled. So this is pretty much just the exact same fight over again. Use the Cestus and then switch to two-hand immediately. Look, life's hard enough, okay? There's 2 bosses. That's 2 balls being juggled. Then both of the bosses are hard. So that's 4 balls being juggled. Now you want me to put on the cestus and then immediately switch to two-handing the Black Knight halberd on the fly? Fine, I'll do it. Dude, I'll tell you straight up, and this is not like, oh, streaming's so hard, but the hardest part of the cut for me is when I finish a stream. I'm so goddamn hungry. I want to eat like an 800-calorie meal. Don't call me cute in Korean, okay? You say it to my face in a language that you know I understand. Not today. 1 hit KO, we're in, boys. Actually, that doesn't say you're cute. I'm pretty sure it says, and I don't take this out of context, I'm pretty sure it's Google Translate for I'm about to jack off. Nanan check up, it went by a little bit too fast, but I couldn't see the verb ending. He's T-posing. Yo, Solaire, what the frick, dude? Let's go! Let's go! We take those. Chad, you were so right. Upgrading the halberd was definitely the right idea. This is how I win. Let's go! Victory achieved. I spam, I was here in chat if you were here. Now we can go to Sen's fortress. I was here reluctantly. That felt good. Now we can at least make some progress. See some new bosses. I'm ready to see what Sen's fortress is throwing at me. I can't believe it only gave us 10,000 souls, too. Purchase item. What a deal. What a deal! And that's not even resin. I killed the Sanctuary Guardian. You cheated not only the game, yourself. Etc., etc. I don't need the Wellwood as a gesture. I don't have to steal all of my content from Dan. Wow, like all the enemies are dead. They're just not doing anything. Probably because they're so scared of what they just saw me accomplish. Wow. Still almost blew it on the one guy who was alive. Hello? Can we get an I'm sorry? This one's for you, chat.
I'm sorry.
I got a lot of stuff to take care of here. If you'll excuse me. Some people will tell you I deserve that. Come on. I heard your meow. Where are you at? Not today, Mushman. Chad, who was your favorite character on the multiple Emmy award-winning television sitcom Frasier? I died. Niles, Frasier, Martin, Daphne. No, don't say Roz. Nobody's favorite character was Roz. Rick? Rick's pretty cool. Yo, thank you, Kate. Kate got me some lunch. She was reading my mind. I am quite hungry. Can I tell you what I have for lunch, though? Oh, we can go to Sans Fortress now. For lunch, I did not eat cat food for lunch. I had a delicious grilled chicken breast on a bed of mixed greens with kale, some beans, I don't know what kind of beans they were, honestly, and a heap and scoop of Brussels sprouts. Absolutely delicious. Finally, some real food. 3 Brussels. It was like at least, I would say 12 to 15 Brussels sprouts. Okay, we have to save and quit. Oh, it just crashed. Even better. How big is your stomach? My wife's in chat. Why don't you ask her? I have an endless appetite. Bigger than hers. Absolutely true. Married life, from the male perspective for me, is eating your whole meal at a restaurant and then your wife being like, do you want to get dessert? And you're like, no, I'm stuffed. I couldn't possibly eat more. She's like, well, I'm done with my entree. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll take it. It is a boomer stand-up bit. That is a very boomer stand-up bit.